Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaRakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, rule well. Shalom to all the brothers doing the work of sincerity and truth. Got this article on Market Watch, and it's funny as hell, because it's more or less the dream that's been like Esau's economy for like the last, how long would it be now? Year, 2 years. Last 2 years, actually, really, more or less from like 2016, or maybe it was early 2017. I can't remember, but it's been more or less like near enough on an upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards trajectory in the markets, since then. And the last time it kind of dipped, well, I think one of the biggest dips was when the pandemic started, when the first lockdown started, and then afterwards, what they said, like once they said they were gonna pump all the money, and they started just pumping in all kinds of money, all of that went out the window, and they went back to making a killing, and that's kind of the laugh now, because. Well, this on Market Watch says, good luck, we'll all need it. US market approaches end of super bubble, says Jeremy Grantham. We are in what I think of as the vampire phase of the bull market, says GMO co-founder Jeremy Grantham. So that says, funny as hell, GMO, So it says what? The US is approaching the end of a super bubble spanning across stocks, bonds, real estate, and commodities, following massive. And that's a funny thing, because it's not just like, imagine 2008, 2009. That was a housing crisis. That was from housing collapsing. That had all that impact on just fucking everyone. And now you've got a super bubble that basically goes beyond just housing, because housing's inflated, but also what? So stock, bonds, commodities as well, and all forms of goods, man. Price of everything's going up, and people are realizing like, yo, how long is this gonna run? And really, it's been artificial, because going to it. I'll read down. So it says, following massive stimulus during the sea pandemic, potentially leading to the largest markdown of wealth in its history, once pessimism returns to raw markets, according to legendary investor Jeremy Grantham. For the first time in the US, with simultaneous bubbles across all major asset classes, said Grantham, co-founder of investment firm GMO. In a paper Thursday, he estimated wealth losses could total $35 trillion in the US should valuations across major asset classes return 2/3 of the way to historical norms. Not even all the way. Just if it was to start a correction, it's a wrap. People are going broke as hell. It's funny because there's like, because of the nature of how the markets have been, it's like there's been opportunities upon opportunities for people to make a killing. Not even counting in like crypto, NFTs as well. People have been making a absolute killing on those as well. But what the general like stock markets and whatnot, people have just been doing well, man. They've been good, and it's like people have been making millions, hundreds of thousands, all that. They've been doing good, and even if like they make losses, they've still been able to to make back. It's like, what, there's people making losses, but there's also a hell of people making a killing. So it says what, one of the main reasons I deplore super bubbles and resent the Fed and other financial authorities for allowing and facilitating them is the under-recognized damage that bubbles cause as they deflate, said Grantham. The Federal Reserve doesn't seem to get asset bubbles, said Grantham, pointing to the ineffably massive stimulus for C, some of which he said was necessary, that followed stimulus to recover from the bust of the 2006 housing bubble. The only lesson that the economic establishment appears to have learned from the rubble of 2009 is that we didn't address it with enough stimulus, he said. Yeah, these men were chucking in trillions, man. Just dashing trillions in. And then like everyone was basically like, yo, is you know, is it even like is there even any issues? You know, people sitting at home, millions upon millions of people sitting at home getting fat checks for months on end. That shit is hilarious. So good luck. Okay. Equity bubbles tend to begin to deflate from the riskiest parts of the market first, as the one that Grantham is warning about has been doing since February 2021. According to his paper, so good luck, he wrote, we'll all need it. While the S&P 500 index and Dow Jones Industrial Average each notched all-time closing peaks in early January, they've since fallen into a slump along with the Nasdaq Composite Index as investors anticipate the Fed will end quantitative easing and begin raising interest rates to combat high inflation later this year. Yeah, and same thing in the UK. Like taxes are going up in April, and I think they said like they were looking to increase the interest rate by like 0.5%. It's like once these things start going off, it's gonna get peak. It's gonna get peak. There's gonna be all kinds of people. They might be getting fired from jobs. They might lose their job. There's all forms of hell, chilling, waiting to cut, to consume them, man, because it's gonna get real peak. So it says the technology-laden Nasdaq has seen the biggest decline among the three major stock benchmarks in 2022, tumbling into correction territory after recording a record high in November, according to FactSet data. We are in what I think of as the vampire phase of the bull market, where you throw everything you have at it, Grantham wrote. You stab it with C, you shoot at the end of QE on the promise of higher rates, and you poison it with unexpected inflation, which has always killed PE ratios before. But quite uniquely, was it profit? I don't even know what the E would be. I guess. I don't even know. But it says, but quite uniquely, not this time yet, and still the creature flies. That is until just as you're beginning to think the thing is completely immortal, it finally and perhaps a little anticlimactically kills over and dies, said Grantham. The sooner the better for everyone. Yeah. So it's like now he knows, like that all that super duper never ending bliss, which has the whole time just been artificially produced just by them pumping in money and dashing it, which people think is making them money. In the meanwhile, their currency's degrading, and they're not holding on to any form of actual wealth. They ain't got land, they ain't got precious metals, they ain't got stones, they ain't got cattle. Well, very few people have some animals, but most people are caught up in the ESOP system. They're thinking about stocks and bonds. They're thinking about their job. They're thinking about their job. They're planning for like their 5-year, 10-year. They're thinking about the holiday they're gonna go out in May, and then the holiday they're gonna have in July, then the one they're gonna have in November. These guys are planning and are caught up in the pride of life. They don't see prophecy speaking. So it says the Nasdaq has dropped 9.5% this month through Thursday, exceeding the S&P 500's nearly 6% slide and a 4.5% loss for the Dow, according to FactSet data. As for GMO's investment recommendation, Grantham summarized them as avoiding U.S. equities while emphasizing value stocks in emerging markets and cheaper developed countries, most notably Japan. On a personal note, he said, I also like some cash for flexibility, some resources for inflation protection, as well as a little gold and silver. Yeah, gold and silver, because this is what happens. It's like whilst Everything's riding high. It's basically, the zombified artificial crops are being maintained by all the what they called artificial fertilizers and chemical inductions that are basically making it, grow up, swell up nice and fat. Then it's basically what been realized, like, oh, that's only artificial. It's just basically been filled up with fluff. And then the thing of actual worth, the gold, the silver, that's where they realize, like, yo, I need something that's basically gonna hold this value through all this turbulence. But even that isn't going to provide them salvation. It says beyond the recent record highs at the U.S. stock market and crazy investor behavior that has accompanied this rise, Grantham warned that we are indeed participating in the broadest and most extreme global real estate bubble in history. He said that houses in the US are at the highest multiple of family income ever, after a record 20% gain last year. Plus, said Grantham, we also have the highest priced bond markets in the US and most other countries around the world, and the lowest rates, of course, that go with them that human history has ever seen. And then there's an incipient bubble in commodities, he added. Oil and most of the important metals are among commodities priced broadly above trend, while the UN's index of global food prices is around its all-time high, according to his paper. The combination, which we saw in 2008, of still rising commodity prices with a deflating asset price bubble is the ultimate pincer attack on the economy and is all but guaranteed to major economic pain. Yeah, it's it's funny because it's been evident, and really everyone noticed. People, it only like hit really when the prices started to go up in the shops. That's what made people realize, when they're like, oh, that same I don't know, maybe 250 grams of whatever the fuck of rice, or of whatever, the 1 kilo of rice, they're paying one price. Then all of a sudden, they're just like, oh, it's gone up. And that's happened for everything. It's got the fruit you're buying, the veg that you're not buying, the cheese, the chicken wings, the tea bags, the all these things that the people purchase. That that's when it kicks in, and that's the thing is, like, Esau's been it's a puppet, man. This economy is a puppet that is yeah, I should read this first. This economy is a puppet that's basically just been, it's on strings. It's been made to stand up and walk, like it's alive, like there's a future for it. But as soon as the strings get cut, it's done. Second Ezra 16 and 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and evil then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Yeah, and famine is a spectacular one as well, because when that hits, then even more so. And that's the thing is people don't account for basically the Heavenly Father getting involved, and that's what's occurring on an even higher rate. Esau's doing his things, but the Heavenly Father's above him, basically ordaining certain things going down. And them famines that hit, certain products prices start going up, it gets peak. Certain areas, there's not enough people doing doing the work that supplies for certain essentials. Then the price starts going up, or they're having to pay more. The price starts going up, and people start feeling the burn, man. Then they realize, like, hold on, like, when did life get so difficult? James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them will witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as with fire. And this is the joke. He said, a little gold and silver, even a gold and silver ain't gonna provide safety, man. That's not gonna save you from the judgment to come. Oh man. That's not going to say. That's not going to save you for the judgment to come. What does it say? Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as with fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the labourers, you who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which are reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Be patient, therefore, brethren, upon the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it, until we receive the early and latter rain. But yeah, the point was what? The rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You keep treasure together for the last days. These things that so-called securities are meant to be security. These Edomites are investing in as securities to secure themselves through the turbulent times. It's basically it's not going to work out how they desire. Because what it's basically going to be those riches that are going to be stored, for Israel to basically spoil them Esau, just as the Egyptians were spoiled back in the time of Exodus. And regardless, the missiles are gonna come, man. You ain't gonna be able to hold up no gold bars to the missiles to stop yourself getting melted. What's I gonna read the Psalms 49:11. It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Yeah, Esau. The faith that people have, where they're investing. Like there's people that buying their 10-year, 5-year bonds and whatnot. There's people that are looking into their future. They're thinking, okay, I'm gonna pay this 25-year mortgage because I'm setting down roots. I'm basically looking to be here for the long haul. I want this to be a place where my kids can grow up and then they can inherit, and then they have this asset behind them and they don't have to worry about having a place to stay and blah blah blah. These that pride of life is taken over. They really and that's the thing is Esau out here is really sitting there thinking, oh it's there's gonna be some trouble, but it'll blow over. We'll take control over it. And then we'll set up whatever it is we desire. But this is the thing is is all that is vanity, man. All that is vanity. Because that's even it says what they call lands after their own names. All these names are going to be dissolved. All these names, people are gonna know their biblical identities, man. They're gonna know their original names. They're gonna know who they go back to. The lands are also gonna be called after them names. Because now there ain't gonna be no Denmark. They ain't gonna be in America. They ain't gonna be a France. They ain't gonna be a Sweden. It's basically gonna be going back to those names, and that's the thing is those names. It's like Asia and Africa. These things that Esau basically named after himself in his own pride. All these things are gonna be done, man. That's the thing. All on this side. They just as the monetary system, all Esau's other systems that he's made, all the things that he's established on the earth, they're all gonna be rooted out, man. That's why it's like for you to think. Esau ain't even looking at his monetary system, this whole, markets and whatnot, like it's gonna run forever. But that's why people are bugged, man. They're caught up, man. They've drunk the juice. They're in love with this place, man. They don't want it to end. But it's done, man. It's on its way out, man. But yeah, Shalom. Shalom.